nemesis of a firefighter. Arsonist, I'm a fire rider. Instant flame like a firelighter. So special with shows, I live out my flows. Can't walk in my shoes, can't purchase my clothes. Ice in my veins, but I never froze. Picture perfect, but I never pose. As a juvenile, I knew I bounced back. Got rated, had a plan to get my ounce back. Use cheese as bait, that's a mousetrap. Let me to the right person to pounce at. They selling dreams, I'm pulling receipts. Full force, we can't be beat. Got a dirty mouth, but the flow so neat. Keep your 2 cents, talk is cheap.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is flip-flopping Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson said Lomachenko should be undisputed. He said that he had the fight 8-4 for Lomachenko immediately after the decision was read in. And now, after reviewing the fight several times, he's changing his stance. Let's listen to what Shakur Stevenson had to say. Shakur Stevenson, this is courtesy of Fight Hype. Subscribe to Fight Hype. This is what Shakur Stevenson had to say.
Nah, at the fight, it was more so like who's winning. Like you look at it and then think in your brain who's winning. Like that's how I really was looking at it. But then I went home. And like I told you, I'm like a student of the game. So I'm like, I get my own notepad out and I judge every round. And when I'm judging the rounds, I'm 10-9 that round. I'm just judging off of who I felt won the round. And, I'm just doing the judge's job. So I saw a 6-6, a draw for like the first time I watched it. Second time I saw it 7-5 Lomachenko. Then I saw it 7-5 Lomachenko again. And then I saw the draw again. So it was like back and forth in that atmosphere. I ain't never really like give Devin the fight. But at the end of the day, when you fighting the champion, you got to beat the champion. So he ain't convincingly just beat the champion.
So that's what Shakur had to say after stating that he felt Vasily Lomachenko should be undisputed in the ring. I'm turning over to you now, G. What's your reaction?
I think Ned should respond first.
Right, go ahead, Ned. Go ahead, Ned.
How hard is Ned's going to be?
He said 2 draws and 2 wins for Lomachenko after he watched it 4 times. Yeah, the champion got to beat the champion to beat the champion, and he didn't knock Devin Haney out. But he was, in my eyes, he was whipping Devin Haney. So I don't know. I still don't agree with the decision that came last weekend. And I won't. I feel you, Shakur. I'm not flip-flopping nothing. I'm standing on my square and just run it back. That's all I'm saying. Run it back.
Yo, Ned, do you have a confession to make?
Yeah, I told you I got into I started watching the fight at round 5, yo. So it is what it is. But I still, what rounds I was watching, Loma was giving that boy that work.
Did you score the fight?
Huh?
Did you score the fight?
I watched the fight. That's it.
That's
like
you
I
score
said, I watched the fight. Like he said, when you watching it, you're not really like scoring it in the moment. You get caught up.
So just for clarity's sake, you missed the first 4 rounds, and you didn't score the rounds, but you believe in your heart of heart that Lomachenko got robbed.
Yes,
I rest my case.
Robbery.
Exactly.
Rod Day.
Speak your piece, G. Speak your piece, G. We heard what Ned had to say, man.
Nah, I'm not even gonna lie. I had major issues with Shakur getting in that ring and saying that Loma got robbed. Because I felt like he was being a hater at that moment. But salute to him and salute to Timothy Bradley, because both gentlemen, after rewatching it, they were like, you know what? The fight was way closer than what we originally anticipated, and that to me is a person being objective, because I never was upset at anybody who thought Loma won, right? Because I could see what they're saying, right? But I remember when we first talked about it, I had the way I viewed it, and it's funny because Trill had it a draw. I had, what's his name? Devin winning by 1 round, and you had Loma winning by 1 round, right? All of us thought it was close, but I viewed it how Trill was viewing it, where it's like you're talking about a lot of close rounds, if it's a close round, it automatically goes to the champion, you know, because you got to take it from the champion. So there was so many swing rounds that it's like, you know, unless you wanted me to just score 10-10 for each round, I was like, somebody got to take this L. And it's most likely it's going to be you, Loma, because, again, it's a championship fight. Devin has all the belts. You're not doing enough to convincingly take that round from him. That's why I was like, you know what? I'm giving it to Haney, you know, but I respect those that had Loma winning because I could kind of see how they could view it that way. I just kind of feel like, you know, when you have all the belts, man, you the A side, bro. You can't just be giving another guy these rounds just because you like him. You know, that's favoritism. So, you know, I do agree with Ned, though. They should run it back. But, however, I salute Shakur for, you know, being honest. He doesn't have to do this, you know. And so he actually came out and was like, hey, you know, after rewatching, I got to draw respect to that young man because, you know, he was – I ain't even going to say what I'm going to say, but him and a few other people were disappointing me, you know, and I was like,
Big Baby Anderson.
A few other people were disappointing the brother. So I really didn't like how it felt to see those young men critiquing Devin's performance like that. Because any of those guys could be Devin in the near future, you know. So, but salute to Shakur, man, for seeing the error of his ways and being adult enough to publicly be like, hey, you know what, I was wrong. After rewatching it, you know what? He said, hey, I either got it Loma one round or I have it a draw. But I just like to acknowledge that young man for correcting his original mistake.
Yeah, I think the lesson here is don't be so quick to hate. Like, and when I say hate, I'm not saying that it's out of the realm of possibility to score the fight for Vasily Lomachenko, because after rewatching the fight, Shakur Stevenson came in with the same scorecard that I had the very next day that I told everyone. I scored it 7-5 Vasily Lomachenko, and I had one swing round that if I would have given it to Devin, it would have been 6-6. So it would have been a draw. So to me, it was a very close fight, and you can't get mad if it goes either way. I've been saying that from the beginning of time since we started the show, that close fights, and the better the fighters, the closer the fight. It's straight like that. The better the fighters, the closer the fight, because they're going to do eye-catching things. Like Vasily Lomachenko did some really good eye-catching things. Devin Haney did some really good eye-catching things. What you saw was skill at its finest. And we talk about this fight being one for the boxing purists. It didn't disappoint. This fight, you saw a lot of skill on display. You saw things that make the sweet science great. You saw it done at a high level. But the thing about Devin Haney and Vasily Lomachenko, not only is it high level, it's fast-paced. So you're going to not see a lot of what they do. You're not going to see, you're going to miss some good punches that they land that you may catch on replay, that you may catch again, right? And, you know, people say a lot about the judges, but they sit ringside and that's what they do for a living. They watch fights. They watch a lot of fights. So, you know, just like a fighter who's in the ring or just like a baseball player who stands at the plate and sees fastballs all day is going to have a better chance at hitting a fastball. Sitting ringside, looking into the ring, doing this all the time, you should have a better eye for what punches landed, what punches are scoring, and what punches are not. So, unfortunately, we can't always say that they do. But my point is, I've seen ridiculous scorecards, and these scorecards aren't the most ridiculous scorecards that I've ever seen. We're going to get into one of the most ridiculous scorecards I've ever seen in a later segment. But my point on this is this was a very close fight. So Shakur, Devin, Tank, they all got this little, you know, frenemy thing they got going on because they're competitive. They want to be better, and so they downplay or they do this or they critique each other's performance, you know, and they go at one another. And I think Shakur originally felt like this is an opportunity for me to stick the knife into Devin and to take some shots at Devin and to clown him like in the ring, because you can see. But I think when he went home and he saw how everyone was going at Devin and everyone was piling on, and he watched that fight again, and he was like, "Oh, this fight is definitely closer than I thought." He wanted to speak up because he felt like I don't want this on my conscience that like people are going to keep using what I said against Devin when I feel differently now. So yeah, salute to him for bringing it up. But why not just wait until you go home and watch the fight? Yo, I always respected people who say, yo, I don't know, I need to go home and watch the fight. Like even the fighters that were in the ring, I feel like I won, but I need to go home and watch the fight. Because one thing everyone knows, the fight looks different when you watch it on TV because you're so close. You get different angles. We've been to the fights. We've been at fights, and then when I watch it on TV, it looks different. You see certain things. Like if you go to a football game and you sit in the stadium, you're not going to see it the way you see it on TV. The cameras are on the field. In boxing matches, the cameras are literally in the ring. They're right there. The cameras are in the ring. From where you sit in the arena, you have one view that whole time, and you see what you see from that one angle. You understand? So all I would say is this, like, if you think Vasily won, like I do, that's cool. But like I said, it wasn't definitive. It wasn't like he dominated Devin and he got robbed. I think he won by 2 rounds. And like I said, 1 round was debatable, and I favored the work that Vasily did in that round. It wasn't the only close round in the fight. There were several. And what if someone else favored the work that Devin did? Boxing's subjective at the end of the day. So, again, I salute Shakur for coming out saying that it was a closer fight than he thought. I think if everyone's being honest with themselves, they can admit this fight was closer. It was a close fight. And, we got the next segment. We'll get into it in the next segment. But salute to everyone who can be honest after coming back. So we got flip-flopping Shakur on this segment, who has flip-flopped and now said that he thinks it was a closer fight. It could have been a draw. All right. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Remember, you can listen to our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing Bros.